Last year I bought this multifamily. It took me about 3 months to complete everything. Buying house is so simple. So why it took me before 2 years planning and thinking about buying house? So in this video, because I went into this process, I will show you how it is simple. I will walk you step by step into how to buy a house for the first time, especially in Boston. Stay tuned. First thing first you have to find a good real estate agent. Good real estate agent with the right connection will make the buying process easier. So the first step is getting the pre-qualification paper. Let's go to the bank. I went to Steve from Santander Bank to ask him how to get the pre-qualification paper.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Steve Roussel. I work for Santander Bank Mortgage. In this segment, we're going to talk about how somebody can qualify for a mortgage, a residential mortgage. A residential mortgage is a 1, 2, 3, 4 family property. I've been lending for 25 years. I specialize in first-time home buying, purchase, refinance, construction, rehab, conventional, jumbo. What we're going to be talking about this afternoon is what somebody would need to provide a mortgage loan officer, the information that they would need for the loan officer to help them on their journey to become a homeowner. I think the most important ingredient that there is the credit. And the credit is actually broken down into two pieces. You have the quality of credit and you have the quantity of credit. So the quality of credit is a credit score. And depending if you're using VantaScore or FICO score, there's going to be a range of credit scores that the borrower is going to be given. We need to know what those scores are. On the other end, there's the quantity, which would be how much do you pay per month for debt, such as car loans, student loans, credit cards, personal loans, co-signed loans, things like that. That's really the most important ingredient for someone to bring forward to a loan officer to get pre-qualified. The second is going to be the income. The income is really the second piece of the puzzle, where we're going to look for the last 2 years. We're going to look at your W-2s, your tax returns, your bank statements, your different schedules if you're self-employed. We're going to take a look at that information, and we're going to use the income that we have on those tax returns and on those documents. We're going to then get the income and the credit, and we're going to crunch numbers to do an income versus debt analysis. And that will pretty much dictate how much of a loan amount that you can qualify for. The third piece of the mortgage pre-qualification is where would you get the money to close on the house. There's 4 pieces. There's the down payment, there's the lender fee, there's the attorney fee, there's escrows such as taxes and insurance, and then there's a side bucket called reserves, which usually will be 2 months of the principal and interest payment on the loan. This money can be in your savings account, can be in your checking account, can be in your retirement. In some cases, you can get some money from relatives that would gift you money. Gifting is not a loan. Gifting is giving you that money without a loan. You could do that. The other thing you could do is have the seller pay your closing cost. They would pay the attorney fee, the lender fee, the escrows. They would not pay your down payment. They would not pay your reserves. Another thing that I have access to is what they call community seconds. Community seconds with municipalities, where some of the cities that you'll be buying in might have some money available, and then some of your employers might have some money to give to you to help you in your journey to home ownership. We can use these grants. We can use them whether it's the employer grant or whether it's a municipality grant, or we can use a combination of them. We can use a combination of the savings, of the community second, seller pay concession, and gifting. This will give you enough money to close on your property. I think the big overview is when you're talking to a loan officer looking to buy, the loan officer is going to look at the last 2 years of your credit. They're going to look at where you've been working for the last 2 years, and they're also going to ask where you've been living. It's called a 2-2-2 rule. So be prepared, if you can, to at least verbally in the beginning give the loan officer that information. What I'm going to suggest is a process that I personally use to pre-qualify people and then later on pre-approve people. Number one, you should have a 7 to 10 minute conversation with the mortgage loan officer. The loan officer will go over the 2-2-2 rule. The loan officer will verbally go over the credit, the income and the savings, and crunch some numbers for you. It's important that you do that. The second step is to then start getting the documentation. So get the last 30 days of pay stubs. Get the last 30 days of income if you're self-employed. If you're disabled or have Social Security income, bring those award letters. What you could do is bring a credit report to this meeting with that loan officer that you can get over the internet. That would be encouraging, so the loan officer would not have to pull credit for you at this time. And then what we would do is actually get the bank statements and get the money on where you would get the money to close. From there, what we would do is we would put you into the marketplace. You would go in there with a purchase price. You would go in there with a loan amount. You would know what your taxes are. You would know what your insurance is. And you would take that into the marketplace to see if, well, you've been pre-qualified to see where you fit into the marketplace. That's very important. What I would say is that either one of three things will happen. You're either going to qualify and there's a lot of properties in the marketplace that you can buy. That's a good thing. If there's 5 to 10 properties in your purchase price range, that's also okay. But what happens in the case where what you qualified for, you don't qualify for even the lowest price home in that market? At that point, we would have to probably relook and requalify and do a few things, such as bring in a co-signer, bring in some gift money, pay down some debts. We would do a number of different things for you that would bring you into the marketplace. So in conclusion, what I would say is the mortgage pre-qualification is one piece, knowing your down payment, knowing your lender fees, knowing your attorney fees, knowing your escrows, knowing your reserves to know how much money you have is what you need to get, and then go into the marketplace. From there, if the market is healthy for you, I would encourage you to do the third step, which is now to get pre-approved. Okay, so you could see that we have the 7 to 10 minute conversation. We then have the pre-qualification with the credit report, without the credit report. You test the market. If you're in the market, we do a pre-approval.
After getting the pre-qualification paper, now going back to the real estate agent to look for a house. I went to Peggy to ask her where and how to find the right house. And when someone finds the fit house, what should they do after?
When you contact me, you're not yet pre-approved, I can definitely link you up to a mortgage specialist that can be sure to help you. Once you have your pre-approval letter, we would meet at our office or somewhere that's convenient and discuss all of the buying options. Will you be looking for a multifamily, a single family, or a condominium? Based on your pre-approval amount, that's definitely going to determine what and where you're going to be looking. There are many things that a home can offer, and there are ways to build future equity, like renovating a kitchen, updating a bathroom. These are all things that you can definitely change at a property. Two things you can change are the size of the lot and the location. The location is key and is very important, and you should do your homework by driving by first and making sure that it is the location that you want to be in, that it is in the neighborhood you'd like, and that a lot size is something that you can work with. Once you know what properties do you want to check out, We'll set up appointments and we'll view 4 to 5 properties in a day, taking into consideration many factors. What's the price point on this property? How much work does it need? Will it be delivered vacant? If it's a multifamily, does it have tenants in it? Is there a lease? Please note, you inherit a lease. Tenant at will is a 30-day notice. It's not a lease, but any concurrent lease must be respected, and you must take into consideration the rental amount and that these people can very well remain until the end of their lease. Once you've decided what property you like, we sit down and we write up an offer. Please note that again, for the offer, I'm going to need a copy of the pre-approval, a deposit check for $1,000, which will make part of your down payment and is put with every offer to ensure that you're serious and it is a legal and binding contract. We put together an offer. You must be aggressive. There are plenty of buyers out there looking for the same things that you are. Rent is very expensive, so note you'll have a lot of competition. There is a lot of things that you put in an offer to compete with besides price. Terms are also very important. Will you be requesting the unit vacant? Will the house be delivered vacant? What's your time frame on closing? How much down payment are you going to be putting down? When will the closing date actually be? So again, these are a lot of terms that a seller will look at when he has in front of him a bunch of offers spread out. Don't be shy. Feel free to include a letter that you are writing to the seller discussing who you are, what your family is all about, where you come from, where did you live, how much you love their property, and how you are looking forward to experiencing your new life and making memories in this new place.
So what will happen after making the offer? And more we'll know from Phil Consolo.
Hi, my name is Phil Consolo. I'm going to pick up where Peggy left off about the offer. Once your offer is presented, doesn't mean your offer is going to be accepted. Hopefully it does. There's many offers that go on a property when there's a property on the market because there's so many buyers. So hopefully it gets accepted. If it doesn't mean the end of the world. You can go to another property and try it again. If your offer is accepted, the next thing we have to do is hire a lawyer, hire a home inspector. In the home inspector, as the home inspector is doing his job, we make the appointment, we go do the home inspection together. The lawyer, the buyer's and seller's lawyer, which your buyer's lawyer that I set you up with, will be working together to make a purchase and sales agreement after the offer. Well, 10 days later, we were looking to sign the P&S if the home inspection goes well. And then you give the rest of the deposit, maybe 5% or 3% or whatever you have to put down after your $5 or $1,000 deposit on the offer. Once that situation goes through, next thing we need to do is wait for a commitment letter. A commitment letter is the most important thing that we have to worry about because that has your deposit involved. Your deposit has to be covered. Say the date's the 10th that you have a commitment letter. On the 9th, I'll be making sure the bank has your commitment letter. If it doesn't, that means we have to call the buyer's lawyer, which is your lawyer, tell her to get, or he, to get an extension for your commitment letter. We find out why you have a problem with your commitment letter, getting it. It might be a little small thing that you need to take in more paperwork or whatever the case may be. If we need an extension to your commitment letter, the seller 99% of the time gives you the extension because it's usually like a week or 10 days or 2 days. It's very short amount of time. For him, the seller to put it back on the market, it would be crazy because it would take another 10, 12 days to sell it again and start the process all over again when we're so close. So 99% of the time, they'll sign your extension. We get the extension signed, say that happens. And now the next thing we do, we're waiting for a closing date. You get your commitment letter on that date we're supposed to, and then the next thing we're doing is waiting for a closing date between buyer's lawyer and the seller's lawyer, and the bank is getting the paperwork to the buyer's lawyer, which would be your lawyer. Once we set a date, we go to closing, deal's done, I hand you the keys, and you're a happy person. Thank you very much.
Before the closing date, there is 2 things you have to know. First is the insurance and how to get the insurance and where to get it. Second is the inspection. For the insurance part, I went to Diane to ask her what is the home insurance and where can I get it from.
I am here today to basically discuss the importance of the homeowners insurance piece. Many people who are proudly homeowners, and there are many people purchasing homes today are looking and inquiring about homeowners insurance. And it is very important that you obtain a good homeowners policy, because there is a lot of insurance companies or agencies that don't take the time to really educate and offer the right coverage to the insureds. So technically, you have the replacement cost for the home, which is not the same as what it would be market value or what you purchased the home. So that's very important that you understand that when you do buy a house, the home is always going to be looked at as replacement cost, not market value or what you purchased the home for. So that's the misconception that a lot of people have these days. When they get the homeowners insurance, they really don't know, what the deductibles are, what it covers. So, we do take the time to educate and explain to the insureds what the policy consists of. So, if you basically come across having issues with your homeowner's insurance, or if you do not know what you're covered for, which a lot of people are underinsured, we can absolutely take the time to, just look over your current policy and offer you the right protection at a great price. So if you wish to do that, contact us at Almanzar Insurance. We're right down the street on 104 River Street in Haverhill, Massachusetts.
So the real estate agent will handle everything. Now when you find the right home for you, you have to know a very important thing, which is the closing. The closing part is very important. I went to attorney Dapra so she can explain to me what is the closing and what will happen during the closing date.
My name is Attorney Deborah Gold Alexander. I'm an attorney in Lynn, Massachusetts. I've been practicing for approximately 35 years. And I had an office in Revere for almost 30 years, and I've been in Lynn for the past 3 years. And I've done real estate law for the last 35 years. And I'm here today to tell you some information about what a closing is. If you're in the market to purchase a property, you are going to meet with a bank and see about getting financing. You're going to have a realtor who's going to show you property, and you're going to need a real estate attorney to handle the real estate closing. You should also have an attorney and retain an attorney for the purchase and sale agreement, which is known as the P&S agreement, and that is the document that you enter into to buy the property that you want to buy. Why it is critical to have an attorney for that is, even though you go to the bank and you might get a pre-approval for financing, that pre-approval is not a financing commitment for the bank to give you the money to buy the property. If you put down $10,000, $20,000 as a deposit on the property, and you do not get your financing commitment from the bank, and you do not give notice to the seller that you did not get your commitment, you do risk losing your deposit. So it's very important to have a real estate attorney to negotiate the purchase and sale agreement and also assist you in obtaining your financing commitment from the bank. Once you have your financing commitment, and when I say commitment, it's that commitment from the bank that says, we are going to give you $300,000 to purchase this property, you will have a real estate closing. And typically that is held at the lawyer's office, who is the closing attorney, but it can also be held at the registry of deeds where the county where the property is located. At the real estate closing, sometimes the broker will be there, sometimes the seller will be there, sometimes the seller will send documents ahead of time and the seller won't physically be there. But you will go and have a closing package that you will be signing, It will be something probably about this thick of a file. Could be a little more, could be a little less. And all the documents in that closing package need to be signed. The closing attorney notarizes your signatures. You have to have identification. There's going to be very important documents, the note, the mortgage. There's going to be a lot of loan documents and a lot of disclosure documents that you need to sign off. In Massachusetts, we are what's known as a title insurance state. So in order to have the closing, you have to have an attorney conduct the closing in Massachusetts. The closing attorney issues title insurance, which it protects the property as to the title of the property. And also the closing attorney deals with all the money. So the closing attorney is going to get funds wired from the bank and is also going to get funds from you to purchase the property, and then that attorney disperses the funds to pay off the seller, to pay off the seller's mortgage, to pay all the closing fees. And that is really the process of having a real estate closing in Massachusetts. Strongly recommended that you should have a real estate attorney for the process in buying a property. It's a large investment, probably your most expensive investment in your life, and you should have an attorney representing your interest. Thank you.
After signing the paper on the closing date, now you accomplished your American dream by owning your first house. Congratulations. If you want to watch more videos about how to buy and sell houses or anything about real estate, subscribe to this channel. This is Mahmoud Ibrahim, and thanks for watching.